perish for a lack thereof.
In Deuteronomy 6, verses 4 through verses 5.
Deuteronomy chapter 6, verses 4 and 5. Hear, O Israel, Yahweh our Elohim is one, Adonai. And thou shalt love Yahweh thy Elohim with all thine heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy might.
Praise Yah. Thank you, Elder. Now, Elder, can we read the church oracles, please?
Yes, sir. I'm going to read the oracles of the church to invite the angel that stands at the door to come in, that the Spirit might dwell among us. I'm going to begin in 1 Peter chapter 4, verses 7 through 11. But the end of all things is at hand. Be ye therefore sober and watch unto prayer. And above all things have fervent love among yourselves, for love shall cover the multitude of sins. Use hospitality one to another without grudging. As every man have received a gift, even so minister the same one to another as good stewards of the manifold grace of Elohim. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of Elohim. If any man minister, let him do it as of the ability which Elohim giveth, that Elohim in all things may be glorified through Yeshua the Mashiach, to whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Amen.
Amen.
Ephesians chapter 4, verse 29. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. And grieve not the Holy Spirit of Elohim, whereby you are sealed unto the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be ye kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as Elohim, for the Mashiach's sake, hath forgiven you. Be ye therefore followers of Elohim as dear children, and walk in love, as the Mashiach also hath loved us, and hath given himself for us, an offering and a sacrifice to Elohim for a sweet-smelling savor. But fornication and all uncleanness or covetousness, let it not be once named among you as becometh saints. Neither filthiness nor foolish talking nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather giving of thanks. Amen.
Amen.
Revelations chapter 3, verses 20 through 22. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him and will sup with him, and he with me. To him that overcometh will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I also overcame and am set down with my Father in his throne. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches.
Praise God. Thank you, Elder. Okay, family, let's go to Numbers 28, 11 through 15, and let's show the world why we up here doing what we doing. They just think we out chilling right now. Let's show them what we doing up here. Yes, sir. Numbers 28, 11 through 15.
Numbers 28, verse 11 through 15. And in the beginnings of your months, you shall offer a burnt offering unto Yahweh 2 young bullocks, one ram, 7 lambs of the first year without spot, and 3/10 deals of flour for a meal offering, mingled with oil for 1 bullock, and 2/10 deals of flour for a meal offering, mingled with oil for 1 ram, and a several 10th deal of flour, mingled with oil for a meal offering unto 1 lamb, for a burnt offering of a sweet savor, a sacrifice made by fire unto Yahweh. And their drink offerings shall be half a hin of wine unto a bullock, and the 3rd part of a hin unto a ram, and a 4th part of a hin unto a lamb. This is the burnt offering of every month throughout the months of the year. And 1 kid of the goats for a sin offering unto Yahweh shall be offered beside the continual burnt offering and his drink offering.
Praise Yah. Let's go to another place, Elder. Let's go to Psalms 81, 1 through 4, and let's show them some more confirmation.
Psalms 81, verses 1 through 4. Sing aloud unto Elohim our strength. Make a joyful noise unto the Elohim of Yaakov. Take a psalm and bring hither the timbrel, the pleasant harp with the psaltery. Blow up the trumpet in the new moon, in the time appointed, on our solemn feast day. For this was a statute for Israel and a law of the Elohim of Yaakov.
Praise Yah. And they say this is nailed to the cross, huh? Okay, let's go to Ezekiel 46, 1 through 3. Let's see that this will be done in the future also. Ezekiel 46, 1 through 3.
Ezekiel chapter 46, verses 1 through 3. Thus saith the Adonai Elohim, the gate of the inner court that looketh toward the east shall be shut the 6 working days, but on the Shabbat it shall be open, and in the day of the new moon it shall be open. And the prince shall enter by the way of the porch of that gate without, and shall stand by the post of the gate, and the priest shall prepare his burnt offering and his peace offerings, and he shall worship at the threshold of the gate. Then he shall go forth, but the gate shall not be shut until the evening. Likewise, the people of the land shall worship at the door of this gate before Yahweh in the Shabbats and in the new moons.
Praise Yah. So what you gonna do with that? Okay, family, the name of this class is called He That Is Without Sin Amongst You, Let Him First Cast a Stone. Now, don't shoot the messenger now. All right, this is a double-edged sword. Now, don't shoot the messenger. Okay, family. Sin, which my elder used to call it slash crime. Sin is a little 1-syllable word with 2 consonants and a vowel, but has an everlasting effect on the ages, such as wars, earthquakes, famines, pestilences, and on mankind moral disaster and death. Sin may be categorized as 2 folds. 1, involuntary infractions toward Elohim or man, which are sins of ignorance. 2, voluntary infractions toward Elohim or man, which are willful sins. And when these offenses are committed, how did our fathers reconcile with the creator of heaven and earth? Well, the blood of innocent animals had to be shed instead of man's blood as a sin offering for the covering of his own sin. 1 bullock for the high priest and the congregation, a male goat for the ruler at that time, a female goat and a female lamb for the common person. Now, I did a little research on how much would a bullock cost in today's time. A bullock will probably run you maybe about $24,000 to $3,000. So that's what you need at your crib to forgive you of your sins back in these times. Okay, now a male goat and a female goat will probably run you like $75 to $300, but it depends on how much it weighs, how it looks, and all those things. And a female lamb would cost you $250. So praise y'all, we don't have to do that right now. So in Leviticus 4, 5, and 6 is where you will find all these animals that our forefathers had to sacrifice for their sins. But let's read one of these. Let's go to Numbers 15, 20 through 30. Numbers 15, 22 through 30.
22?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Numbers chapter 15, verses 22 through 30.
Yes, sir.
And if you have erred and not observed all these commandments, which Yahweh have spoken unto Moshe, even all that Yahweh have commanded you by the hand of Moshe, from the day that Yahweh commanded Moshe, and henceforward among your generations, then it shall be, if aught be committed by ignorance without the knowledge of the congregation, that all the congregation shall offer 1 young bullock for a burnt offering, for a sweet savor unto Yahweh, with his meal offering and his drink offering, according to the manner, and 1 kid of the goats for a sin offering. And the priest shall make an atonement for all the congregation of the children of Israel, and it shall be forgiven them. For it is ignorance. And they shall bring their offering, a sacrifice made by fire unto Yahweh, and their sin offering before Yahweh for their ignorance. And it shall be forgiven all the congregation of the children of Israel, and the stranger that sojourneth among them, seeing all the people were in ignorance. And if any soul sin through ignorance, then he shall bring a she-goat of the first year for a sin offering. And the priest shall make an atonement for the soul that sinneth ignorantly, when he sinneth by ignorance before Yahweh, to make an atonement for him, and it shall be forgiven him. You shall have 1 law for him that sinneth through ignorance, both for him that is born among the children of Israel, and for the stranger that sojourneth among them. But the soul that doeth aught presumptuously, whether he be born in the land or a stranger, the same reproaches Yahweh, and that soul shall be cut off from among his people.
Praise Yah. So we're clear on that. Okay, now in the Old Testament, sin is set forth as an act of disobedience, which also means lawlessness, rebellion, revolt, refusing to do what someone in authority tells you what to do. In this case, that authority is Yahweh, the Elohim of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And that to-do list are the righteous instructions from heaven given to the children of Israel at Mount Sinai thousands of years ago. And that's estimated at 1450 BC. So where were the Gentiles round about this time? Okay. Furthermore, sin is a personal offense against Yahweh and can reveal itself as a power that brings man into a state of slavery. Now, does that sound familiar? In addition to that, sin is considered as an insult to Elohim, something detestable and worthy of punishment. So let's check something out in Genesis 2, verses 15 through 17. And let's see what the first humans was up to around about this time.
Genesis chapter 2, verses 15 through 17. And Yahweh Elohim took the man and put him into the garden of Eden to dress it and to keep it. And Yahweh Elohim commanded the man, saying, of every tree of the garden thou mayest freely eat, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil thou shalt not eat of it, for in the day that thou eatest thereof, thou shalt surely die.
Okay, so the commandment was, verse 17, but of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, thou shalt not eat of it, for in the day that you eat thereof, thou shalt surely die. So that's a commandment, right? Okay, let's go to chapter 3, verse 8 through 13.
Genesis chapter 3, verse 8. And they heard the voice of Yahweh Elohim walking in the garden in the cool of the day. And Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of Yahweh Elohim amongst the trees of the garden. And Yahweh Elohim called unto Adam and said unto him, where art thou? And Adam said, I heard thy voice in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, and I hid myself. And he said, who told thee that thou was naked? Hast thou eaten of the tree whereof I commanded thee that thou shouldest not eat? And the man said, the woman whom thou gavest to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I did eat. And Yahweh Elohim said unto the woman, what is this that thou hast done? And the woman said, the serpent beguiled me, and I did eat.
Okay, now that's the disobedience. It don't say sin there, but they were being disobedient right there. Okay, let's go to verse 14 through 19, Elder, and we're going to see what the punishment is for being disobedient.
Genesis chapter 3, verse 14.
Yes, sir.
And Yahweh Elohim said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle, and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly shalt thou go, and thus shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over you. And unto Adam he said, because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife, and hast eaten of the tree of which I commanded thee, saying, thou shalt not eat of it, cursed is the ground for thy sake. In sorrow shalt thou eat of it all the days of thy life. Thorns also and thistles shall it bring forth to thee, and thou shalt eat the herb of the field. In the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread, till thou return unto the ground, for out of it were you taken, for dust you are, and unto dust shall you return.
Praise God. So the serpent was punished, the woman was punished, and Adam was punished. Okay, let's go to Genesis 4, Let's pick this up at verse 6 through 15, and let's see what the first siblings was up to around about this time.
Genesis chapter 4, verses 6 through 15.
Yes, sir.
And Yahweh said unto Cain, why art thou wroth, and why is thy countenance fallen? If thou doest well, should thou not be accepted? And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door. And unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him. And Cain talked with Abel his brother, and it came to pass, when they were in the field, that Cain rose up against Abel his brother, and slew him. And Yahweh said unto Cain, where is Abel thy brother? And he said, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper? And he said, what have you done? The voice of your brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground. And now you curse from the earth, which have opened her mouth to receive your brother's blood from your hand. When thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength. A fugitive and a vagabond shalt thou be in the earth. And Cain said unto Yahweh, my punishment is greater than I can bear. Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from thy face shall I be hid. And I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth. And it shall come to pass that everyone that findeth me shall slay me. And Yahweh said unto him, therefore whosoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. And Yahweh set a mark upon Cain, lest any finding him should kill him.
Praise Yah. Like I said, sin, something detestable, worthy of punishment, right? Verse 8, and Cain talked with Abel, his brother, and it came to pass, when they were in the field, that Cain rose up against Abel, his brother, and slew him. Something detestable, right? Then we go to his punishment, verse 12. When thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength. A fugitive and a vagabond shall thou be in the earth. Praise Yah. Okay, Elder, let's go to Numbers 20, verses 7 through 13. And let's see what Moshe was up to, dealing with the children of Israel.
Got on his nerve, didn't he?
Got on his last nerve. Now, what we're going to read here, brothers and sisters, this is also considered as an insult to Yahweh.
Numbers chapter 20, verses 7 through 13. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, take the rod, and gather thou the assembly together, thou and Aaron thy brother, and speak ye unto the rock before their eyes, and it shall give forth his water, and thou shalt bring them forth to water, bring them forth. Thou shalt bring forth to them water out of the rock. So shalt thou give the congregation and their beasts drink.
Okay, so he says, speak to the rock, right? Okay, continue, Elder, please.
Numbers chapter 20, verse 9. And Moshe took the rod from before Yahweh as he commanded him. And Moshe and Aaron gathered the congregation together before the rock, and he said unto them, hear now, you rebels, must we fetch you water out of this rock? And Moshe lifted up his hand, and with his rod he smote the rock twice, and the water came out abundantly, and the congregation drank, and their beasts also. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe and Aaron, because you believe me not to sanctify me in the eyes of the children of Israel, Therefore you shall not bring this congregation into the land which I have given them. This is the word of Meribah, because the children of Israel strove with Yahweh, and he was sanctified in them.
Wow. Moshe did that one thing and cost him not going into the land. But he will be there. Praise Yah. Okay, Elder, can we go to Isaiah 1 through 17? And let's check out Yehuda's rebellion during the reign of 4 kings in the day of Isaiah. And this particular prophecy went out in 740 BC.
Reading 1 through.
1 through 17.
Oh, okay.
Please.
Verse 1. The vision of Esaias, the son of Amos, which he saw concerning Yehudah and Jerusalem in the days of Uzziah, Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah, kings of Yehudah. Hear, O heavens, and give ear, O earth, for Yahweh hath spoken. I have nourished and brought up children, and they have rebelled against me.
Okay.
The ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib, but Israel doth not know, my people do not consider. A sinful nation, a people laden with iniquity, a seed of evildoers, children that are corrupters. They have forsaken Yahweh. They have provoked the Holy One of Israel unto anger. They are gone away backward. Why should you be stricken any more? You will revolt more and more. The whole head is sick, and the whole heart faint. From the sole of the foot even unto the head there is no soundness in it, but wounds and bruises and putrefying sores. They have not been closed, neither bound up, neither mollified with ointment. Your country is desolate, your cities are burned with fire, your land strangers divide in your presence, and it is desolate as overthrown by strangers. And the daughter of Zion is left as a cottage and a vineyard, as a lodge and a garden of cucumbers, as a besieged city. Except Yahweh of hosts had left unto us a very small remnant, we should have been as Sodom, and we should have been like unto Gomorrah. Hear the word of Yahweh, you rulers of Sodom. Give ear unto the law of our Elohim, you people of Gomorrah.
He called his people Sodom and Gomorrah. So I guess they was doing the characteristics of Sodom and Gomorrah. Okay, continue, Elder, please.
Same thing we do today, brother.
Yes, sir, the same thing.
Sodomites, huh?
Nothing changed.
Isaiah chapter 1, verse 11. To what purpose is the multitude of your sacrifices unto me, saith Yahweh? I am full of the burnt offerings of rams and the fat of fed beasts, and I delight not in the blood of bullocks or of lambs or of he-goats. When you come to appear before me, who have required this at your hand to tread my courts? Bring no more vain oblations. Incense is an abomination unto me. The new moons and Shabbats, the calling of assemblies, I cannot away with. It is iniquity, even the solemn meeting. Your new moons and your appointed feasts, my soul hateth. They are a trouble unto me. I am weary to bear them. And when you spread forth your hands, I will hide mine eyes from you. Yea, when you make many prayers, I will not hear. Your hands are full of blood. Wash you, make you clean. Put away the evil of your doings from before mine eyes. Cease to do evil. Learn to do well. Seek judgment. Relieve the oppressed. Judge the fatherless. Plead for the widow. Come now.
That's it.
I'm
That's
sorry.
it. In verse 2, say, "Hear, O heavens, and give ear, O earth, for Yahweh hath spoken. I have nourished and brought up children, and they have rebelled against me." That's that word rebel. It's a synonym for sin, right there. Verse 5, "Why should you be stricken anymore? You will revolt more, and the whole head is sick, and the whole heart is faint." There's that word revolt right there. It's another synonym for sin. But what does Yahweh want you to do? Verse 16, "Wash you, make you clean. Put away the evil of your doing from before my eyes. Cease to do evil. Learn to do well. Seek judgment. Relieve the oppressed. Judge the fatherless. Plead for the widow." That's all he asks right there. Praise Yahweh. Now, brothers and sisters, we see that the origin of sin began in the Garden of Eden, instigated with Satan, the father of lies, pride, and rebellion. So let's see what Satan's job is. Let's go to Job 1, 6 through 7. Now, he's been in the garden all through this time. Now we're going to see what he really is up to. What is he doing?
Job chapter 1, verse 6. "Now there was a day when the sons of Elohim came to present themselves before Yahweh, and Satan came also among them. And Yahweh said unto Satan, Whence comest thou? Then Satan answered Yahweh and said, From going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it."
Right, and tempting man every chance he get, starting in the garden. Okay, let's go to Ezekiel 28, and let's see the characteristics of this one king. He has the same characteristics of Satan.
Teach, brother.
Let's check him out. Yes, sir. And we're talking about the king of Tyre, and I found out his name was Ithbal. Ithbal. Yeah. Ithbal.
Jezebel's daddy? I think his name was Ithbal too.
Yeah.
I checked that.
Okay. Okay, I don't want you to read verses 1 and 2 first, so we can see what's going on.
Ezekiel chapter 28, verse 1. "The word of Yahweh came again unto me, saying, Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyrus, Thus saith the Adonai Elohim, Because thine heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am a God. I sit in the seat of God, in the midst of the seas. Yet thou art a man and not Elohim, though you set your heart as the heart of Elohim."
Now, how prideful is that? You calling yourself a God on earth, right? Okay, let's go to verse 11 through 19, Elder.
Okay.
Now it switches up, and it really goes deep.
Ezekiel chapter 28, verse 11. "Moreover, the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, take up a lamentation upon the king of Tyrus, and say unto him, Thus saith the Adonai Elohim, Thou sealed up the psalm, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. Thou hast been in Edom, the garden of Elohim. Every precious stone was thy covering, the sardius, topaz, and the diamond, the beryl, the onyx, and the jasper, the sapphire, the emerald, and the carbuncle and gold. The workmanship of thy tabrets and of thy pipes was prepared in thee in the day that you were created."
So we're looking past the flesh now. Okay, go ahead, Elder.
Ezekiel chapter 28, verse 14. "You are the anointed cherub that covereth, and I have set you so. You were upon the holy mountain of Elohim. You have walked up and down in the midst of the stones of fire. You were perfect in your ways from the day that you were created till iniquity was found in you. By the multitude of your merchandise, they have filled the midst of you with violence, and you have sinned. Therefore I will cast thee as profane out of the mountains of Elohim, and I will destroy thee, O covering cherub, from the midst of the stones of fire. Your heart was lifted up because of your beauty. You have corrupted your wisdom by reason of your brightness. I will cast thee to the ground. I will lay thee before kings, that they may behold thee. Thou hast defiled thy sanctuaries by the multitude of thine iniquities, by the iniquity of thy traffic. Therefore will I bring forth a fire from the midst of thee, it shall devour thee, and I will bring thee to ashes upon the earth in the sight of all them that behold thee. All they that know thee among the people shall be astonished at thee. Thou shalt be a terror, and never shalt thou be any more.
Praise Yah. Thank you, Elder. Verse 14. Thou art the anointed cherub that covered, and I have set thee so. Thou was upon the holy mountain of Elohim. Thou hast walked upon up and down in the midst of the stones of fire. That sounds like in Job, he was walking up and down. Sounds a little bit like that. So yeah, we see the similarities, right? Okay. Let's go to 2 Kings, Elder, chapter 18. And this is dealing with Sennacherib, king of Assyria, his second invasion of Judah. And he threatens the children of Israel and blasphemes the God of Israel. So let's see what his punishment will be for doing that. 2 Kings chapter 18, verse 26 through 35.
Second Kings, chapter 18,
Yes, sir.
verse 26.
Yes, sir. 26 through 35.
Verse 26. Then said Eliakim the son of Hilkiah, and Shebna and Joah unto Rabshakeh, Speak, I pray thee, to thy servants in the Syrian language, for we understand it, and talk not with us in the Jews' language in the ears of the people that are on the wall. But Rabshakeh said unto them, Has my master sent me to your master and to thee to speak these words? Has he not sent me to the men which sit on the wall, that they may eat their own dung and drink their own piss with you? Then Rabshakeh stood and cried with a loud voice in the Jews' language, and spake, saying, Hear the words of the great king, the king of Assyria. Thus saith Yahweh, Let not Hezekiah deceive you.
Thus said the king.
What did I say?
You said Yahweh.
Whoa, why did I say that?
It's all right.
Let me get that right.
Yes, sir.
2 Kings chapter 18, verse 29. Thus saith the king, Let not Hezekiah deceive you, for he shall not be able to deliver you out of his hand. Neither let Hezekiah make you trust in Yahweh, saying, Yahweh will surely deliver us, and this city shall not be delivered into the hand of the king of Assyria. Hearken not to Hezekiah, but thus saith the king of Assyria, Make an agreement with me by a present, and come out to me, and then eat you every man of his own vine, and every one of his fig tree, and drink you every one the waters of his system, until I come and take you away to a land like your own land, a land of corn, a land of grain and wine, a land of bread and vineyards, a land of olive oil and of honey, that you may live and not die. And hearken not unto Hezekiah when he persuadeth you, saying, Yahweh will deliver us. Has any of the gods of the nations delivered at all his land out of the hand of the king of Assyria? Where are the gods of Hamath and Arpad? Where are the gods of Sephar, Baam, Henna, and Ivah? Have they delivered Samaria out of mine hand? Who are they among all the gods of the countries that have delivered their country out of mine hand, that Yahweh should deliver Jerusalem out of mine hand?
Praise God. So he's talking big junk now, right? But he just don't know these gods are not like Yahweh. So let's go to 2 Kings 19 and pick up the rest of this, verse 35 through 37. Let's see if Yahweh gonna check him for this.
35 through
37.
And it came to pass that night that the angel of Yahweh went out and smote in the camp of the Assyrians 185,000. And when they arose early in the morning, behold, they were all dead corpses. So Sennacherib, king of Assyria, departed and went and returned and dwelt at Nineveh. And it came to pass, as he was worshiping in the house of Nisroch, his god, that Abimelech and Sharezer, his son, smote him with the sword. And they escaped into the land of Armenia, and Esarhaddon, his son, reigned in his stead.
Praise Yah. Rap Shaker talking stuff about the children of Israel and talking junk about Yahweh, and he took care of that business. And you can also find this story in Isaiah 36, chapter 11 through verse 11 through chapter 39 and verse 8. Okay, let's go to Acts 12, verse 21 through 23, and let's see what Agrippa was up to. And let's see what the smack he was talking. Prideful people. That's one of the things Yahweh hates. And it seems like these people full of it. And this king was King Herod Marcus Julius Agrippa. Okay. They started at verse 20 for me up.
Acts chapter 12, verse 20. And Herod was highly displeased with them of Tyre and Sidon, but they came with one accord to him, and having made Blastus, the king's chamberlain, their friend, desired peace, because their country was nourished by the king's country. And upon a set day, Herod, arrayed in royal apparel, sat upon his throne and made an oration unto them. And the people gave a shout, saying, It is the voice of a God and not of a man. And immediately the angel of Yahweh smote him, because he gave not Elohim the glory. And he was eaten of worms and gave up the ghost.
Okay, we Papa don't play, he go get you. Okay, brothers and sisters, let's examine the multi-aspects of sin. The New Testament teaches that sin is transgression of the law, and we can find that in 1 John 3 and 4. Now, transgression is a breach of trust and overstepping of the law, the divine boundary between good and evil. So let's find an example of this in Psalms 51, verses 1 through 19. And this is when the prophet Nathan came to Dawid and was telling him about what happened with what he did with Bathsheba. Yeah. And this is Dawid pouring his heart out. And he's actually sorry for what he did.
I remember when Jimmy Swagger got caught into this little mess when everybody's so crazy about it. That he went against Psalm 51. He quoted verse 4.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, like he David.
He was that prostitute, wasn't
Yeah.
Twice.
He couldn't help himself.
he?
Sure. Psalms 51, verses 1 through 19.
Verse 1.
Yes, sir.
Have mercy upon me, O Elohim, according to thy loving kindness. According unto the multitude of thy tender mercies, blot out my transgressions. Wash me thoroughly from mine iniquity, and cleanse me from my sin. For I acknowledge my transgressions, and my sin is ever before me. Against thee, thee only, have I sinned, and done this evil in thy sight, that thou mightest be justified when thou speakest, and might be clear when thou judgest. Behold, I was shapen in iniquity, and in sin did my mother conceive me. Behold, thou desirest truth in the inward parts, and in the hidden part thou shalt make me to know wisdom. Purge me with hyssop, and I shall be clean. Wash me, and I shall be whiter than snow. Make me to hear joy and gladness, that the bones which thou hast broken may rejoice. Hide thy face from my sins, and blot out all mine iniquities. Create in me a clean heart, O Elohim, and renew a right spirit within me. Cast me not away from thy presence, and take not thy Holy Spirit from me. Restore unto me the joy of thy salvation, and uphold me with thy free spirit. Then will I teach transgressors thy ways, and sinners shall be converted unto thee. Deliver me from blood guiltiness, O Elohim, thou Elohim of my salvation, and my tongue shall sing aloud of thy righteousness. O Adonai, open thou my lips, and my mouth shall show forth thy praise. For thou desirest not sacrifice, else would I give it. Thou delightest not in burnt offering. The sacrifices of Elohim are a broken spirit. A broken and a contrite heart, O Elohim, you will not despise. Do good in your good pleasure unto Zion. Build thou the walls of Jerusalem. Then shalt thou be pleased with the sacrifices of righteousness, with burnt offerings and whole burnt offerings. Then shall they offer bullocks upon thine altar.
Praise Yah. Dawid humbled himself and asking for forgiveness from Yahweh. Okay, another aspect of sin, iniquity, an act morally wrong, whether explicitly forbidden or not. Now, what this is, let's go to Matthew 5, Elder. And we're going to pick it up from verses 21 to 22. And we say explicitly forbidden in the law.
Matthew chapter 5, verses 21 22. You have heard that it was said by them of old time, thou shalt not kill, and whosoever shall kill shall be in danger of the judgment.
And that's in the law, right? Specifically forbidden in the law. Okay, Elder, continue.
Verse 22. But I say unto you that whosoever is angry with his brother without a cause shall be in danger of the judgment. And whosoever shall say to his brother, Raca, shall be in danger of the council. But whosoever shall say, thou fool, shall be in danger of hell fire.
Okay, so this is not in the law, but Yahshua magnified the law. So he's walking in the spirit of the law, right? Okay, let's go to verse 27 through 32.
You have heard that it was said by them of old time, thou shalt not commit adultery. But I say unto you that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her have committed adultery with her already in his heart. And if thy right eye offend thee, pluck it out and cast it from thee. For it is profitable for thee that one of thy members should perish, and not that thy whole body should be cast into hell. And if thy right hand offend thee, cut it off and cast it from thee. For it is profitable for thee that one of thy members should perish, and not that thy whole body should be cast into hell. It has been said, whosoever shall put away his wife, let him give her a writing of divorcement.
That's Moshe's law, right? Okay, continue, Elder.
Verse 32. But I say unto you that whosoever shall put away his wife, saving for the cause of fornication, causes her to commit adultery, and whosoever shall marry her that is divorced, committeth adultery.
Praise God. So the Mashiach straighten that out, right? Okay. Let's go through verses 43 through 48. The multi aspects of sin.
Matthew chapter 5, verse 43. You have heard that it has been said, thou shalt love thy neighbor and hate thine enemy. But I say unto you, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, and do good to them that hate you, and pray for them which despitefully use you and persecute you, that you may be the children of your Father which is in heaven. For he maketh his sun to rise on the evil and on the good, and sendeth rain on the just and on the unjust. For if you love them which love you, what reward have you? Do not even the publicans the same? And if you salute your brethren only, what do you more than others? Do not even the publicans so? Be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father which is in heaven is perfect.
Praise God. Another aspect, error, a departure from right. Let's go to Leviticus 5, 14 through 18. Elder. I'll be out y'all here in a minute. (14 through 18). Elder.
Verse 14. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, if a soul commit a trespass and sin through ignorance in the holy things of Yahweh, then he shall bring for his trespass unto Yahweh a ram without blemish out of the flock, without estimation by shekels of silver, after the shekel of the sanctuary, for a trespass offering. And he shall make amends for the harm that he has done in the holy thing, and shall add the fifth part thereto, and give it unto the priest. And the priest shall make an atonement for him with the ram of the trespass offering, and it shall be forgiven him. And if a soul sin and commit any of these things which are forbidden to be done by the commandments of Yahweh, though he knew it not, yet is he guilty, and shall bear his iniquity. And he shall bring a ram without blemish out of the flock with your estimation for a trespass offering unto the priest, and the priest shall make an atonement for him concerning his ignorance, wherein he erred and knew it not, and it shall be forgiven him.
Praise God. That's error in the law. Okay, another aspect, trespass, entrance by force or the intrusion of self-will into the sphere of divine authority. I didn't want to go here, but we can go here. Let's go to number 16. And we're gonna look at what the sons of Korah was up to.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. We're gonna read 1 through 3 first, Elder. I'm not gonna read that whole chapter.
Numbers 16, verse 1 through 3. Now Korah, the son of Ishar, the son of Kohath, the son of Levi, and Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, and On, the son of Peleth, sons of Reuben, took men, and they rose up before Moshe with certain of the children of Israel, 250 princes of the assembly, famous in the congregation. men of renown. And they gathered themselves together against Moshe and against Aaron, and said unto them, You take too much upon you, seeing all the congregation are holy, every one of them, and Yahweh is among them. Wherefore then lift you up yourselves above the congregation of Yahweh.
Okay, so they talking junk to Moshe, right? Okay, let's go to verse 9 through 10, Elder.
Seemeth it but a small thing unto you that the Elohim of Israel have separated you from the congregation of Israel to bring you near to himself, to do the service of the tabernacle of Yahweh, and to stand before the congregation to minister unto them. And he hath brought thee near to him, and all the brethren, the sons of Levi, with you, and seek you the priesthood also.
Okay, so they intruding on a sphere of divine authority. They already have their job, right? Now they want to jump into these other brothers' job, right? Okay, let's go to verses 31 and 35, Elder. 31 through 35. And let's see the cause of their rebellion.
Numbers chapter 16, verse 31. And it came to pass, as he had made an end of speaking all these words, that the ground clave asunder that was under them, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed them up and their houses, and all the men that appertain unto Korah and all their goods. They and all that appertain to them went down alive into the pit, and the earth closed upon them, and they perished from among the congregation. And all Israel that were round about them fled at the cry of them, but they said, Lest the earth swallow us up also. And there came out a fire from Yahweh and consumed the 250 men that offered incense.
Okay, so they trespass, intrude, huh? Okay. Let's try one more verse, one more chapter. Let's go to 1 Samuel 13, 1 through 15. Let's see another example of this trespass. Yes, sir. 1 Samuel.
First Samuel chapter 15, verse 1. Samuel also said to Saul, Yahweh sent me to anoint thee to be king over his people, over Israel. Now therefore hearken thou unto the...
Samuel 13, what did you say? Yeah, chapter 13. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said 15. I'm sorry, brother.
I said 1 through 15.
Can't see and can't hear.
It's okay.
1 Samuel chapter 13, verses 1 through 15.
Yes.
Saul reigned 1 year, and when he had reigned 2 years over Israel, Saul chose him 3,000 men of Israel, whereof 2,000 were with Saul in Michmash and in Mount Bethel, and 1,000 were with Jonathan in Gibeah of Benjamin, and the rest of the people he sent every man to his tent. And Jonathan smote the garrison of the Philistines that was in Geba, and the Philistines heard of it. And Saul blew the trumpet throughout all the land, saying, Let the Hebrews hear. And all Israel heard say that Saul had smitten a garrison of the Philistines, and that Israel also had an abomination with the Philistines. And the people were called together after Saul to Gilgal. And the Philistines gathered themselves together to fight with Israel, 30,000 chariots and 6,000 horsemen, and people as the sand which is on the seashore in multitude. And they came up and pitched in Michmash, eastward toward Beth-aven. When the men of Israel saw that they were in a strait, for the people were distressed, then the people did hide themselves in caves and in thickets and in rocks and in high places and in pits. And some of the Hebrews went over Jordan to the land of Gad and Gilead. As for Saul, he was yet in Gilgal, and all the people followed him trembling. And he tarried 7 days according to the set time that Samuel had appointed. But Samuel came not to Gilgal, and the people were scattered from him. And Saul said, bring hither a burnt offering to me, and peace offerings. And he offered the burnt offering. And it came to pass that as soon as he had made an end of offering the burnt offering, behold, Samuel came. And Saul went out to meet him, that he might salute him. And Samuel said, what hast thou done? And Saul said, because I saw that the people were scattered from me, and that you came not within the days appointed, and that the Philistines gathered themselves together at Michmash. Then said I, the Philistines will come down now upon me to Gilgal, and I have not made supplication unto Yahweh. I forced myself, therefore, and offered a burnt offering. And Samuel said to Saul, thou hast done foolishly. Thou hast not kept the commandment of Yahweh thy Elohim, which he commanded thee. For now will Yahweh have established your kingdom upon Israel forever. But now your kingdom shall not continue. Yahweh have sought a man after his own heart, and Yahweh have commanded him to be captain over his people, because you have not kept that which Yahweh commanded you. And Samuel arose and got him up from Gilgal unto Gibeah to Benjamin, and Saul numbered the people that were present with him, about 600 men.
Praise Yah. So he intruded into the priesthood himself, trying to make sacrifices. That's not your job. So Yahweh brought him his hat also. Okay, brothers and sisters, a couple of more. Spiritual anarchy, which means lawlessness. So let's go to Hosea 4, 1 through 6. Spiritual anarchy.
OC chapter 4, verses 1 through 13.
1 through 6.
1 through 6, I'm sorry. Hear the word of Yahweh, you children of Israel, for Yahweh has a controversy with the inhabitants of the land, because there is no truth, nor mercy, nor knowledge of Elohim in the land. By swearing and lying and killing and stealing and committing adultery, they break out, and blood touches blood. Therefore shall the land mourn, and everyone that dwelleth therein shall languish, with the beasts of the field and with the fowls of heaven. Yea, the fishes of the sea also shall be taken away. Yet let no man strive nor reprove another, for your people are as they that strive with the priests. Therefore shalt thou fall in the day, and the prophet also shall fall with thee in the night, and I will destroy your church. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me. Seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy Elohim, I will also forget thy children.
Praise Yah. Verse 2, by swearing, by lying, that's in the Ten Commandments. Killing, that's a part of the Ten Commandments. Stealing and committing adultery, they break out, and blood touches blood. Okay, brothers.
My brother, Elder Priest I had this line out. Elder Priest got this. This is why we got kicked out of the land. And we doing the same thing today. Am I right, Elder?
That's right.
Shooting, killing.
Yep. Mirror image of this, verse 2.
Same thing today.
So what has changed? Nothing. Okay, brothers and sisters, let's go to another aspect. Unbelief. And this is also an insult. Let's go to Hebrews 3. And we're going to go 7 through 19, Elder.
Elder, remember I was talking about something a while back. This little boy got in some trouble. This mandate they was coming up with. He got in trouble. He's 14. They're looking for his mother.
His parents.
She's on the run. They're going to get her
No, she on the run.
because her son committed a crime. You remember I was telling you about that? Anybody from, I guess, 13 on before they get 18, if they get in trouble, they call them parents out. They said single mothers, but they were talking about single black mothers. We know who they was talking about. They are looking for this woman.
She on the run?
Mm-hmm.
That's too bad. Ain't got nothing else to say.
Okay, Hebrews 3,
Where we starting at?
verse 7 through 19. Yes, sir.
Wherefore, as the Holy Ghost saith, today, if you will hear his voice, harden not your hearts, as in the provocation, in the day of temptation in the wilderness, when your fathers tempted me, proved me, and saw my works 40 years. Therefore, wherefore I was grieved with that generation, and said, they do always err in their heart, and they have not known my ways. So I swear in my wrath, they shall not enter into my rest. Take heed, brethren, lest there be in any of you an evil heart of unbelief in departing from the living Elohim. But exhort one another daily while it is called today, lest any of you be hardened through the deceitfulness of sin. For we are made partakers of the Mashiach if we hold the beginning of our confidence steadfast unto the end. While it is said, today if you will hear his voice, harden not your hearts, as in the provocation. But some, when they had heard, did provoke, howbeit not all that came out of Egypt by Moshe. But with whom was he grieved 40 years? Was it not with them that had sinned, whose carcasses fell into the wilderness? And to whom sware he that they should not enter into his rest, but to them that believe not? So we see that they could not enter in because of unbelief.
Okay, let's go chapter 4, 1 through 8. Chapter 4, Hebrews chapter 4, yes sir, 1 through 8.
Hebrews chapter 4, 1 through 8.
Yes sir.
Let us therefore fear, lest a promise being left us of entering into his rest, any of you should seem to come short of it. For unto us was the gospel preached as well unto them. But the word preached did not profit them, not being mixed with faith in them that heard it. For we which have believed do enter into rest, as he said, as I have sworn in my wrath, if they shall enter into my rest, although the works were finished from the foundation of the world. For he spake in a certain place of the seventh day on this wise, and Elohim did rest the seventh day from all his works. And in this place again, if they shall enter into my rest. Seeing therefore it remains that some must enter therein, and they to whom it was first preached entered not in because of unbelief. Again, he limited a certain day, saying in David, today after so long a time, as it is said, today if you will hear his voice, harden not your hearts. For if Joshua had given them rest, then would he not afterward have spoken of another day.
Praise God. Your book might have JC, but like the elder said, that's supposed to be Joshua. And that rest was when they conquered the land in Joshua 11:23, and they had rest from war. In con-
Had that rest under millennial rest.
Yeah.
that rest. Praise God. In conclusion, O Judah, we have all sinned and fell short of the glory of Elohim, as it is written. Is it possible to avoid sin? No. Since the Levitical priesthood duties have been set aside, which are the animal sacrifices, and the Son of Man crucified and resurrection was fulfilled, we now offer up spiritual sacrifices, which are broken hearts and contrite spirits. We only know of one sinless man who did walk the earth in sinful flesh, and his name was called Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty Elohim, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace, Yahshua HaMashiach. So who amongst us can say that we are complete? Who amongst us can say that I walk in the Spirit 24/7, 365? Or stand over there and say, I'm holier than thou?
Creflo.
Well, I can say this. We do the best we can in the land of our captivity to do what thus says the Elohim, and it's only by Yah's manifold grace and mercy that we are alive today. Elder, let's go to 1 Kings 8, verse 22 through 24.
Job tried out once,
Yes.
and Yahweh did put it in his place.
Yes, sir. He brought him down a few pegs, didn't he?
Yeah.
That was 1 Kings chapter 8, verse 22 through 24.
You know, again, good thing, we should go over the laws, because we're going to go back into the land.
Right,
And we need something to govern by,
right.
because, again, we cannot kill the Messiah again. So the sacrifice for us, or ignorant, or sin of ignorance,
Yes,
we have to go to the law.
that's right, brother. Praise y'all. Praise y'all. I like to call this book Basic Instructions Before Leaving Earth. Right. Praise y'all.
1 Kings,
Mm-hmm.
chapter 8, verse 22.
Okay.
And Shlomo stood before the altar of Yahweh in the presence of all the congregation of Israel, and spread forth his hands toward heaven. And he said, Yahweh Elohim of Israel, there is no God like thee in heaven above or on earth beneath, who keepeth covenant and mercy with thy servants that walk before thee with all their heart. Who hast kept with your servant David, my father, that thou promisest him. Thou spakest also with thy mouth, and hast fulfilled it with thine hand, as it is this day.
Verse 46.
If they sin against thee, for there is no man that sinneth not, and thou be angry with them, and deliver them to the enemy, so that they carry them away captives unto the land of the enemy, far or near. Yet, if they shall bethink themselves in the land, whether they will carry captives, and repent, and make supplication unto thee in the land of them that carried them captive, saying, we have sinned and have done perversely, we have committed wickedness, and so return unto thee with all their heart and with all their soul in the land of their enemies, which led them away captive, and pray unto thee toward their land, which thou gavest unto their fathers, the city which thou hast chosen, and the house which I have built for thy name.
Okay, hold on, Elder. That's good.
Oh, okay.
Verse 46, if they sin against me, for there is no man that sinneth not. No man that sinneth not. Let's go to Ecclesiastes 7, Elder, verse 20. I got two more and I'll be out y'all here. I just want you to read one verse out of there, Elder.
Ecclesiastes, where we at?
Ecclesiastes 7, verse 20.
Verse 20. For there is not a just man upon earth that doeth good and sinneth not.
Okay. I'm not saying that. That's what the book say, right? Okay. Let's go to Romans 3, verse 9 through 11.
Verse 9. What then? Are we better than they? No, in no wise. For we have before proved both Jews and Gentiles that they are all under sin. As it is written, there is none righteous, no, not one. There is none that understandeth, there is none that seeketh after Elohim.
Okay. There's none righteous, no, not one, right? Okay. Let's go to Matthew 7, verse 1 through 6.
You have a question.
Yes, sir.
Earlier, when Uriah was talking about the law, and it said, he said that we're getting prepared to keep, getting prepared by keeping the law here, right? Is that what you said? So he said that before we go into the land, we gotta know the law.
Okay, yeah, he did say that. Yeah.
Is that what you said?
Yeah, well, good thing to know the law, so we can govern, sinning ignorant into the land, because we cannot kill, Yeshua anymore.
Right. So, and your response was, that's why we're here now, before we leave here? I don't remember exactly what you said.
Say before we leave the earth.
Yeah, I was saying Bible. Yeah, I was saying the Bible was basic instructions before you leave the earth.
Leave the earth. Leave the earth.
Well, actually, that earth means dead. Really, that's a saying that they used to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wanna be clear.
I thought that's what you said. When you died and leave the earth, yeah.
We raptured.
And if you didn't listen to it, but I caught it. He saying when you die,
Sorry about that, yo. Sorry about that.
you slow. Cut it out.
Okay, thank you. Matthew 7, 1 through 6.
Judge not, that you be not judged. For with what judgment you judge, you shall be judged. And what measure you meet, it shall be measured to you again. And why beholdest thou the mote that is in thy brother's eye, but considereth not the beam that is in thine own eye? And how wilt thou say to thy brother, let me pull out the mote out of thine eye, and behold, a beam is in thine own eye? Thou hypocrite, first cast out the beam out of thine own eye, and then shalt thou see clearly to cast out the mote out of thy brother's eye. Give not that which is holy unto the dogs, neither cast you your pearls before swine, lest they trample them under their feet and turn again and rend you.
Praise y'all. Look in the mirror before you check somebody else. One more, brothers and sisters. Let's go to John 8, 1 through 11.
Verse 1. Yahshua went unto the Mount of Olives, and early in the morning he came again into the temple, and all the people came unto him, and he sat down and taught them. And the scribes and Pharisees brought unto him a woman taken in adultery, and when they had set her in the midst, they say unto him, Master, this woman was taken in adultery in the very act. Now Moshe in the law commanded us that such should be stoned, but what sayest thou? This they said, tempting him that they might have to accuse him. But Yahshua stooped down and with his finger wrote on the ground as though he heard them not. So when they continued asking him, he lifted up himself and said unto them, He that without sin among you, let him first cast a stone at her. And again he stooped down and wrote on the ground. And they which heard it, being convicted of their own conscience, went out one by one, beginning at the eldest, even unto the last. And Yahshua was left alone, and a woman standing in the midst. When Yahshua had lifted up himself and saw none but the woman, he said unto her, Woman, where are those thine accusers? Have no man condemned thee? She said, No man, Adonai. And Yahshua said unto her, Neither do I condemn thee. Go and sin no more.
Praise Yah. That's my class family. Enjoy your new moon feast.
Did you hear that, Creflo?
I'm talking to
New
you,
sin.
Creflo.
But the nations learn the ways of strangers. We don't know love. No representation amongst the nations. So for the cops and just killers. We so forgetful. We forgot that Christians named us niggas. So how do you figure this land is righteous when it was founded by Masons? They worship Lucifer, the light bearer, the god of this world, Satan. My heart is heavy. My God is ready to pardon your sins. If you can remember the covenant, we walk contrary. He walk contrary. We must accept our punishment. Iniquity. Rebelling, we fell but yelling. Somebody come save us. It's Yahweh. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. But wake up, Israel, we must wake up. Put our palms in our face up. Destroy her, the daughter of Babylon. Just as I come take us. Wake up, Israel, we must wake up. Put our palms in our face up. Destroy her, the daughter of Babylon. Just as I come take us.
Oh Yahweh, Elohim, it's time to save us. It's you who made us, so don't forsake us.
Giving up on his people. For the first time in many generations, the laws of Yahweh, our Elohim, are being heard by the people that need to hear it the most. And there is clearly no other option available for black people, for they have fallen as low as any other people can fall. The only place that they can go then is up. But they must see and hear what righteousness is. They must see and hear Yahweh's words in our actions and in our speech. We must show them something that they have never seen before. Now, we cannot force a lawless people to become a law-abiding people. And so, they must see a people that looks like them, but they have a different spirit about them. And when they see us walking in the spirit of Yehuda, they see the Mashiach's light in us. Yahweh is showing us how to show love towards him and towards our neighbor in that order. And as we have read, for this is the love of Yahweh, that we keep his commandments. And his commandments are not free. For this is the love of Yahweh, that we keep his commandments. And his commandments are not free.
Thou shalt love Yahweh thy Elohim with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy might.
Praise God. That is what we call the season. Mashiach added to this by saying, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. And of these two commandments hang all the law.
All praises be to the Most High. As a night is
cleanse, restore us back to our former glory. Hear me show every man against his brother. Just check with mindset, trapping up our mentality. Willie Lynch can inject, awake your sons of Jacob. Return unto your maker, Yahweh Israel. Yahshua the beginning and the Alpha and Omega. A current situation, man it's a devastation. Single parent, family homes and then there's mass incarceration. Police then shoot with them just like some flies and sanitation. And sodomite then spray them like roach infestation. It's just a meditation, I'm praying for my nation. The broad road leads to destruction, the narrow to salvation. It's just a meditation, I'm praying for my nation. The broad road leads to destruction, the narrow one salvation. Deuteronomy 28 will give you the explanation. Disobedience to God's laws, it causes indignation. I take on integration, see brainwash education. One lost generation, I'm praying for my nation. Save us. Children shine his light, cutting through the lies and deceptions we've been taught all the life. So-called black man, tell them you're a Hebrew Israelite. Wake up Jacob, arise from the slumber, take flight. We better prepare, the time for our departure is near. Yes, and writings on the wall, so we publish and declare. Say you come out of her mouth, take not part in her evil. The dark of Babylon shall fall and you're not gonna spare. Seek ye first the kingdom and his righteousness. Follow with it full suit of armor, feed that same time's death. Tis a good ship of Zion, come and carry us home to the promised land of Nimcon on the Jerusalem which we roam. Read Isaiah chapter 6 now, and proclamation. And read chapter 54 for more confirmation. Curse of blindness, no people walking lost in the days. Oh children of Israel, we must repent from our ways. Of lawlessness without the truth and no religion. This ain't no Islam, the Buddha, the Rasta, no Christian. It's the culture of the Hebrew Israelite nation. Our God is Yahweh. The sea and the land, our creation, yeah, our creation, oh yeah.
Saved, walk out the record that they have a zeal of God, but the court is slaves. Out of the words of knowledge, for my people perish for a lack thereof. Trodden down by the nations, learn the ways of strangers. We don't know love, no representation amongst the nations. So for the cosmic just kill us. We so forgetful, we forgot that Christians named us niggas. So how do you figure this land is righteous when it was founded by Masons? They worship Lucifer, the light bearer, the god of this world, Satan. My heart is heavy, my God is ready to pardon your sins. If you could remember the covenant, we walk contrary, he walk contrary. We must accept our punishment. Iniquity, rebelling, we fell but yelling, somebody come save us. It's Yahweh, calling for our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Oh, wake up, it's right now we must wake up. Put our palms in our face up, destroy her, oh daughter of Babylon. Since the Zion come take us. Oh, wake up, it's right now we must wake up. Put our palms in our face up, destroy her, oh daughter of Babylon. Since the Zion come take us.
Oh, Yahweh, Elohim, please come and save us. It's you who made us, so don't forsake us.
For the first time in many generations, the laws of Yahweh, our Elohim, are being heard by the people that need to hear it the most. And there is clearly no other option available for black people, for they have fallen as low as any other people can fall. The only place that they can go then is up. But they must see and hear what righteousness is. They must see and hear Yahweh's words in our actions and in our speech. We must show them something that they have never seen before. Now, we cannot force a lawless people to become a law-abiding people. Spirit, O Yehuda, they see the Mashiach's light in us. Yahweh is showing us how to show love towards him and towards our neighbor in that order. And as we have read, for this is the love of Yahweh, that we keep his commandments. And his commandments are not grief. For this is the love of Yahweh, that we keep his commandments. And his commandments are not grief.
And thou shalt love Yahweh thy Elohim with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy might.
That is what we call the chief. Mashiach added to this by saying, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. And of these two commandments hang all the law.
All praises be to the Most High. As a night is slush.
Save me, save us. Oh yeah. Save me, save us. King Yahshua. NCCI. Oh
yeah. Here's the hero nice to see. Get my people deaf and blind. Curses of Deuteronomy 28. See that was prophesied. But this is a people robbed and spoiled, locked up in a prison house. Nobody says restore us back to a form of glory. Hear me shout. Every man against his brother. Just check with mindset. Trapping of our mentality. Willie Lish get inject. Awake your sons of Jacob. Return unto your maker. Yahweh Israel. Yahshua the beginning and the Alpha and Omega. A current situation. Man, it's a devastation. Single parent family homes and then there's mass incarceration. Police them shoot without use lights and flights and sanitation. And sodomite them spreading like roach infestation. It's just a meditation. I'm praying for my nation. The road leads to destruction, the narrow to salvation. It's just a meditation. I'm praying for my nation. The broad road leads to destruction, the narrow and salvation. Deuteronomy 28 will give you the explanation. Disobedience to God's laws, it brought his indignation. Has taken integration, see brainwash education. One last generation. I'm praying for my nation. Save us. Children shine his light, cutting through the lies and deceptions we've been taught all the life. So-called black man, tell them you're a Hebrew Israelite. Wake up Jacob, arise from the slumber, take flight. We better prepare, the time for our departure is near. Yes, and writings on the wall, so we publish and declare. Say you come out of her mouth, take not part in her evil. The daughter of Babylon shall fall and you're not go spare. Seek ye first the kingdom and his righteousness. Try with it full suit of armor, feed that Satan's nest. Tis a cold ship of Zion, come and carry us home to the promised land of milk and honey. We run. Read Isaiah chapter 6 now, and proclamation. And read chapter 54 for more confirmation. Curse the blindness, my people walking lost in our days. Oh children of Israel, we must repent from our ways. All lawlessness, we talk the truth and no religion. This ain't no Islam, the Buddha, the Rasta, no Christian. It's the culture of the Hebrew Israelite nation. Our God is Yahweh, the head is the earth, the sea and the land, all creation.